Yo, what is going on YouTube? I am Germ here. Today we are talking about some huge news coming out of the LCS, but then also spilling over into the LEC and into like the LFL as well, I guess, potentially. This news was about an hour and a half ago. Obviously, I like to get stuff out to you guys as soon as I can. I like to be right on top of the breaking news. I don't think an hour and a half is too bad. I would have got that out to you sooner, but you can see here, hey, I'm wearing a polo. I was just driving home from work. I literally just got home from work, had like a 13-hour day today, so I'm getting home late, which kind of sucks. Getting the news out a little bit later than I would like, but sucks. But still, we're doing our best to stay on top of everything for you guys, and this is an absolutely huge one. This is coming from LEC Wooloo. I guess we'll rewind a little bit earlier today. I mean, not even that long ago. I think just like a couple of minutes before he put this out, he dropped this on us, which was some kind of coded language. I don't know if this is binary or what, but yeah, I think it's binary. And he said, information tonight. That was at 5:51, and then I was like, oh, a couple hours, you know, maybe like 4, 5, 6 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, something later. I don't know. He was going to be dropping some big news. And then, I don't know, like 15 minutes later, decided to drop this. So I was expecting it to take a little bit longer, but Wooloo kind of just dropped it right after. Didn't really even give his hyping up tweet much time to get hyped up. He says, sources, Hans Sama is parting ways with Team Liquid and wants to return to Europe. Several teams contacted the French player, but KCorp is the main contender? What? Like, each word of this tweet just starts to get crazier and crazier. They also say, or Wooloo also says, as a consequence, Reckless is exploring options in the LEC, trying to find a new home. What the heck? Now, we got to break this video down because there's way too much to talk about in just one video. In this video, I mostly want to focus on the Hans Sama angle of things, but we can also talk about the Reckless and KCorp angle of things in another video. I think that probably deserves its own video. But my initial thoughts are, wow, crazy. And also, does this confirm KCorp coming to the LEC? Like, obviously, Hans Sama probably isn't coming over to KCorp if they're not in the LEC, so maybe that could be hinting at something here. But here's what Wooloo says. He says KCorp is attempting to acquire bot laner Hans Sama, whose contract with Team Liquid is being terminated. So, sounds like his contract is being terminated. So like Wooloo's tweet says, hey, Hans Sama wants to return to Europe, but he's also saying that his contract with Team Liquid is being terminated. So it does sound like Liquid is kicking him, and then after being kicked, he wants to return to Europe. It doesn't sound like, hey, he's just telling Team Liquid, hey, I want to return to Europe. This does seem like he was going to get kicked from TL either way, and then he's going to go try to get back to Europe. But this also means that if his contract's getting terminated, that there's not going to be a buyout. There's not going to be anything like that. So, one, TL's not going to get anything in return for him, but two, these other teams aren't having to pay any more for him, which is a little bit crazy. I get it because obviously Hans Sama didn't have the best year, so his value probably isn't the highest in the world, and Team Liquid spent a lot of money, so I'm sure they would like to get something back for him. But yeah, kind of crazy for TL that, you know, you went for the super team, you spent all this money, and now you're going to terminate the contract and not even get a buyout in place. Yeah, G2, they had their disastrous 2021 year, but hey, they still ended up selling off Wonder. They still ended up selling off Mickey. They still ended up selling off Reckless. TL got nothing for Jensen, and now it looks like they're going to get nothing for Hans Sama as well, which is a little bit crazy, but as a consequence, bot laner Reckless is currently exploring options in the LEC. Hans Sama wants to return to Europe following a disappointing year with TL after the organization failed to qualify for Worlds. Team Liquid have already publicly announced they're going to be changing their roster for 2023. Several LEC teams have expressed interest in the French bot laner. So that is very, very interesting. KCorp is also one of the teams that have expressed interest despite not being in the LEC yet, but they are still looking at the Astralis spot. The offer KCorp sent to Hans has been well received and will allegedly be completed if certain conditions are met. Now, some people are saying, hey, that probably means at least one, I don't know what conditions would be, but at least one of the conditions has to be, hey, you guys need to get into the LEC. So that could be something very, very interesting to watch out for. The organization has allowed Reckless to talk with other teams. The team's current bot laner has subsequently started to explore options in the LEC. This follows a year with ups and downs with KC. But man, yeah, wow, crazy. The Reckless stuff is insane, but just focusing on Hans Sama, I don't think many people are going to find this that crazy, at least the fact that he's parting ways with TL or is getting kicked from TL or whatever. He wasn't that great this year. He's taking up an import slot. He probably had a big salary, big buyout from Rogue, all that stuff. And yeah, he just didn't look that great. And especially if he wants to return to Europe, maybe it was just an issue of him gelling in North America or gelling with Core JJ or gelling with Team Liquid in general. I don't know. But like, really, how good was Hansama this year? Was he a top 3 AD carry in the LCS? Was he a top 5 AD carry in the LCS? I don't know. But either way, TL was looking for him to be like top 1 or top 2. And he absolutely wasn't that. And of course, we heard Steve saying that, hey, TL is going to stop trying to form super teams. TL is going to be using their infrastructure to build teams, build players up from within. So right off the bat, obviously it says Hansama has contacted or been in contact with multiple teams from the LEC. So, you know, if KCorp does get into the LEC, it seems like they're the favorite, but maybe KCorp doesn't get in the LEC, or maybe something decides to fall through, or something happens to fall through. You know, what are Hansama's options going to be? You know, I don't think he's going to Mad Lions over Unforgiven. He's been pretty good. I don't think he's going to G2, but maybe G2 could look to replace Flockhead with Hansama. That might get a little bit spicy, because it seems like G2 was interested in Hansama last year, but Rogue was not interested in trading Hansama or selling Hansama to anyone in Europe. So maybe G2 Hansama becomes an angle. Obviously, I don't think he's going to be returning to Rogue. Comp has been a beast this season. Heretics is going to have Jack Spectra. Excel has Patrick. Fnatic has Upset. Vitality Hansama, I think, could be the other possibility. I think G2 and Vitality really become the two big names outside of KCorp. But obviously, KCorp is a big French team, and Hansama is French, and the fans are probably going to love him, but you also have to remember, Hansama is not coming off that great of a year. Is he going to be better in Europe? Or is this maybe the beginning of kind of some shakiness in his career? Has he already peaked? Is he maybe on the back end of his career? Is he just not as good as he was before? I'm not exactly sure. Maybe a return to Europe and into the LEC will be a resurgence of Hansama. Maybe the pressure got to him this year. Maybe he just didn't fit in well with this team. Or maybe he just underperformed. I don't exactly know. But man, this is very, very crazy. And then obviously on the Team Liquid side, what are they going to do? You know, some people have said, hey, well, Team Liquid, maybe you should go after Reckless if he's going to be there and available. I think that's rather unlikely. Some people have said, hey, maybe TL should call up Tactical again. Maybe we can get a Tactical and Core JJ, you know, reuniting. But people also say, what does this mean for the rest of the TL lineup? You know, does this mean Core JJ might be leaving or on his way out or retiring or whatever? You know, is Bjergsen going to stay if they don't have a super team in place? Because that was one of the reasons he came to TL in the first place, because they had an insane roster to offer to him. I don't know what's going to happen. Obviously, the most likely outcome, I don't know if this is the most likely, but an outcome that's going to come to a lot of people's minds right off the bat is that they might just call up their TL Academy AD carry in Jan. You know, he was really, really good. He was one of the best players in Academy last split. Yeah, we got to see him in the LCS a little bit, and he wasn't crazy impressive. But again, this TL team as a whole wasn't crazy impressive this year either. So maybe Jan will get an opportunity here, or maybe TL is going to look at some other AD carries. I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be very, very spicy and interesting to see what happens. But yeah, I mean, the breaking news here, a lot of breaking news. One, Hansama and TL are going to be parting ways, which is like the seems to be the official part of all this, but then the more rumor and speculative part is he could be going to KCorp. KCorp could be kicking Reckless. I don't know. It starts to get really, really crazy. I was not ready for all this, but like I said, there is a ton more to talk about. It does seem a bit strange to me, Hansama not coming off a great year, that you would kick Reckless for Hansama, but like I said, French player, French fans, French org, maybe there's something there, and maybe, I don't know, maybe they think he's better than Reckless right now. Is Hansama for sure better than Reckless right now? I don't know. I don't think so. I think I would rather have Reckless. But we will talk about all that. For now, all we know is that, again, Steve has confirmed big changes are coming to TL in 2023. Seems like the first piece that is dropping with Hansama being on his way out, terminating his contract, parting ways with TL, whatever you want to call it, returning back to the LEC. Obviously, I know the LEC in Europe loves when they're able to get their players back. But they don't love when their players come back and don't perform, so there's going to still be some pressure and weight on Hansama's shoulders going into 2023, but yeah, it doesn't seem like he'll be staying in the LCS much longer. But yeah, pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you guys think about anything we talked about in this video today. Subscribe, tip today, and all my latest content. Hopefully catch you guys in the next one. But until then, peace.